Okay, so the question of the day is, should Deca reveal public drop rates for white bags? So this is a clip that I saw on Reddit, and I thought it was a pretty interesting idea. It was a post made by a man named Chipless. I'll have a clip of it later in the video. But so basically what he was saying was that he has a couple polls. He had one over 1,000 views, and basically saying that a lot of people want the public drop rates. They want it was like 0.625, whatever it is. Now this is a pretty interesting idea if you ask me, as personally I'm a statistical guy and I like knowing my stats and not just saying, okay, maybe I'm gonna get it, maybe I'm not. Now there are some downs and ups to it, and if you want to see the Reddit page itself, I have it linked down below. But it was pretty interesting to me. So there's a couple of reasons to why you want to add drop rates. So as I said, there was a poll there's 1,000 people who voted. There's 1,000 out of 1,200, which is about 80%, which is an overwhelming majority, and that's pretty big. I mean, in the end, there's not much you can do about it, as far as like if you're somebody who doesn't want to, because I mean, if 80% does, I'm assuming Deca would do that if they even paid attention to this. It also gives the players a certain number, instead of just praying to get a random white bag as a statistical person. And it's pretty interesting because you have a lot of pros, and I'm kind of on the edge about it, but you'll see what I'm talking about. As it seems like, yeah, why not do that? But there's some pros and cons. We've actually seen this before. If you guys ever played Nilly's Realm has almost all the drop rates on their game, and that's actually pretty particular to me, if you ask me. And I actually liked it a lot. So if I saw something like how rare it was, okay, let me go check the drop rate on it. Check the drop rate. It wasn't like what most people say. Like, there's a lot of people who are saying it's going to be a situation where it's like, you're gonna have somebody like, bro, Deca sucks. It's only raise the drop rate on it. And I can see where they're coming from. There are obviously gonna be some people who do that. We have a pretty edge community, if you ask me. But overall, you didn't really see that in Nilly's. So I doubt you'd really see that too much in Realm of the Mad God. But other than that, there's also your cons, of course. And one of the most particular cons to me was that Deca themselves, they don't really want to put it in the game. As there was an interview, and they said one of the guys who works at Deca and works on Realm of the Mad God said that it takes that magical feel away from it. And that was interesting to me. It was like, because that makes sense, because if you have a statistic, you're like, yes, like, okay, after this 1,000th one, I should have it. But obviously it's a random number generated system, meaning that just cause you get you have a chance at it doesn't mean you're going to get it, as we have learned before in the past. Because you can have somebody who has if you have 1,000, it's like a 1 in 1,000 chance at getting, let's say, the Shatan's skull, right? Well, maybe if you do run 1,000, you run 1,000 Shatans, and you do it with your guild, and you have like 30 people do it, right? So that means technically you guys should have at least 30 skulls, but obviously since it's a random number generated system, that's not exactly true, because there's some people who have vaults on vaults of Debos, and there's some people in this game who are struggling to even have one. Also, there are people who are against it in the community, and it's kind of like, you don't really want to stab a knife somebody's back because like, it's twisting it, and I can understand why there's a lot of backlash towards it. But the post itself has gotten a lot of upgrades. It has like upvotes. It has like 200 in the first hour or two it's been out, which is pretty high for Reddit. This is extremely interesting to see how Deca's going to respond to that, if they even do, hopefully, so that they will. Once again, one of the guys from Deca said that he didn't want to pursue this because then a white bag doesn't even feel like a white bag, it just feels like a statistic. But if I had to make a final decision on what I would think, I would have to say yes. Overall, I think that the ability to have a statistic and have something to say, run yourself by instead of saying, come on, Deca, you gotta give me this eventually, that it'll help out a lot and it'll solve some problems in the community. Thank you guys for listening in, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thanks.